Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, so if I stumble over my words moving forwards, apologies about that, and also if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well, if there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it cannot be helped, and hopefully it is not too much of an issue for you. This is yet another Junior Eurovision 2022 video here on my channel, and today I am filming my review of this year's competition, which took place yesterday at the time of recording this video you're watching now. Yesterday being Sunday the 11th of December 2022, 16 acts for 16 different nations took to the stage in Yerevan, the capital city of Armenia, and France came out on top for the second time in the space of just a few years. As always, let me know your thoughts about this year's competition in the comments below, and as always, check out the links in the description to my other social media pages if you so wish. I have information up in front of me to make sure I don't forget anything too important, and my notes from yesterday's show as well. You may well have seen my reaction video to the results as they came in. I was very surprised by the outcome, and some of the jury marks in particular genuinely did not see coming whatsoever, and I think I'm not alone in saying that. So, anyway, yesterday the stage was set for the artists in Yerevan, and we had 4 hosts. I'm not going to talk too much about anything that isn't to do with the songs and the results, really, but we had Iveta Mukuchian, Garik Papoyan, Karina Ignatian, and Robin the Robot. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the hosts did a poor job, but there were a few awkward pauses at times, which you can expect with any live show. The script, well, I wouldn't say that there was a great deal of humour to it. If anything, it was quite on the awkward side. And Robin the Robot, I don't know about you, but I'd be quite happy to never see anything like this again in any Eurovision-related event. It seemed like a big waste of money and time to me. I think Robin appeared on screen about 3 or 4 times, said a couple of cheesy things, and that was the end of that. I know the show is aimed at children, but I felt as though this robot was too young, if you see what I mean, for the children watching and taking part. It seemed really juvenile. I don't know, that's just me, baby. But anyway, let's move on. 16 nations, as I've already said. I think the best thing to do is just to talk about the songs and talk about the results. So, I have written here that I wasn't a huge fan of Iveta's outfit at the start, but that means little. The postcards were fine. And something that I can't stand, and again, maybe I'm not alone in saying this, the opening number, I think Malena, when she performed again later on in the show, and indeed the 20th anniversary celebration montage, all miming. I don't think any of it was live vocals. It didn't seem that way to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but it annoys the hell out of me. I just don't understand why you're not singing live. Really don't get it. Anyway, Netherlands opened the show. Tonight will be Bellissimo. Oh my god, it is still stuck in my head. La Festa by Luna for the Dutch. 7th place, 128 points here. You have to say maybe a tad disappointing. I think a lot of people expected this to finish in the top 5, if not win. Maybe being on first was a tad damaging. There was that moment during the show where the Netherlands were supposed to be up, but then we cut back to Karina in the green room, and I thought, what's going on here? Maybe they were just setting up the stage, or maybe Luna was a little bit nervous and needed a little bit more time to prepare before belting her heart out. And although she was quite visibly nervous, I would say, for the first minute or so of this song, she just eased into it, sounded great, the pink suit, rocking that, with her crew, dancing away. What a great number to open the show. But also at the same time, what a shame it was on first, because had it been on later, maybe this would have fared a little bit better. In the jury results, which I will look at in a little bit more detail shortly, Luna finished 7th with 58 points, and joint 4th with 70 points from the public. The highest mark from the juries was 8 from Malta and Spain. Really good. Maybe should have finished a place or 2 higher. I haven't really written anything else different down in my notes, apart from the fact that it was fun stuff. It really was. One of my favourites of the year. Then we have Poland, and this finished 10th with 95 points. tied with Italy. This was To the Moon by Laura. This fell utterly flat, in my opinion, coming after La Festa, which is this big up-tempo fun number. And then we have something that's a little bit more on the serious side, still pop, still a good performance, still a great young singer, but it felt flat to me. It just felt like a bit of a downgrade, if I'm honest, even though it's still a good song. I've written here, okay job, felt flat after the Netherlands, some on-screen effects, the moon that moved across. I don't know what it is with Poland, but they love on-screen effects, including in the adult competition. Yeah, not bad at all. I really don't have much more to say about it. In the results, Poland were 11th with the juries, 42 points, and joint 9th with the public, 53 points, which is a little bit lower than I was expecting. Usually Poland fare very well in the online vote, but not so much this year. And in retrospect, I can't say I'm too surprised. The highest mark for Poland from the juries was 8 from Albania. Let's move on to song 3, which was Kazakhstan. Wow! Did anybody really envisage this song faring so poorly? I did not. I thought this might have won the jury vote. I couldn't have been further away. This was David Sharling, Joanna Mother Earth. 47 points, 15th place, second last. My goodness, I thought the juries were going to eat this up for breakfast, lunch and dinner. They couldn't give a toss about this song. Last place, 5 poor points for David. And then in the public half of the results, he was joint 14th with 42, which isn't a great deal better, to be honest. Again, this felt a little bit flat, because the Netherlands entry was still stuck in my head, and maybe it's just because I really enjoy that song more than the Polish and Kazakhstan entries, I don't know. But I was just waiting for the pace to pick up again almost. And Kazakhstan, I just wasn't engaged with it as much as I wanted to be. I've actually gone off the song a little bit over the past 48 hours or so. Great, great singer. His voice alone deserved more points, but alas, it wasn't to be. Jury bait, that wasn't to be either. And I don't know, I liked his outfit. He didn't move about a whole lot. It needed that wow moment, and it never came, in my opinion. Kazakhstan's weakest Junior Eurovision result to date, and it doesn't do them any favours with trying to compete in the adult competition, let's be honest. And I have seen 1 or 2 comments online saying that this could mean Kazakhstan withdraws from Junior Eurovision next year. I'm not sure that's going to happen. If anything, they'll bounce back strongly, but we wait and see. Song 4, oh dear, poor Malta, Gaia Gambutsa, Diamonds in the Skies. Bit of a fan favourite. A lot of people maybe didn't have this at number 1, but most people, I think, enjoyed this for what it was. This electro-pop number. Last place, 43 points. Ouch. I actually thought this was a top-notch job. This stood out more than Kazakhstan and Poland to me. We had lots of flashing lights, the sort of silver outfit that Gaia was wearing. She had 2 other people on stage with her, I believe. And there's that moment towards the end of the song where she's strutting towards the camera and then she turns back. She was just oozing confidence, and her vocals were really nice. I've written here, the revamp worked wonders. I've said this in previous videos. I am liking it more now than I did a few days ago. It really has grown on me quite a bit, but I'm still not absolutely adoring it. Yeah, nicely done. Great confidence, bit of a grower. But, as has been the case many a time in the junior contest and adult competition for poor old Malta, not many people voted for them. In the jury results, 15th place, 10 points. Last in the online vote with 33 points. A high mark from the juries for Malta of 5 from Spain. Yeah, a little disappointing, but then again, I'm not sure any other song in the Maltese selection would have done much better. Let's move on to song 5, which was Italy, Chanel Delecta, blah, blah, blah. I thought this was great. A real injection of fun again. Not that Diamonds in the Skies isn't a fun track, but this was just pure joy, pure colour and vibrancy from start to finish. Chanel looked much more comfortable than she did in the rehearsal clip, which was released several days ago. She had dancers on stage with her, doing that motion. Bullism. Not bullying, bullism, that was on the backdrop, I remember that. It was just, again, a really nice job. She came out on stage, sang well, couldn't have asked for any more. The result was as expected though, 95 points, 11th place. 12th with the juries, 42, and then joint 9th with the public, 53, exactly the same as Poland. Italy did receive 2 sets of 12 points from juries, though. Albania and Georgia had this as the best song of the night. I've written here, if I can decipher my own handwriting, that is, so fun, vibrant, decent voice, colourful, all the stuff I've already mentioned. One of my favourites of the year. There is a message behind it as well. I think it's grown on a lot of people, but nobody really expected this to challenge for victory. Song 6 will leave for now and move on to Song 7, which was Albania, Caitlin Jatta Pakis DL. I'm so glad this wasn't completely underrated. The juries liked it, the public maybe not quite as much, but 12th place, 94 points, isn't too bad. You know, you could say that Albania deserved a bit better this year. Certainly, in my opinion, they deserved a bit better last year. Lovely voice, so simply executed, the emphasis very much on the vocals. Was there a smoke machine? I can't quite remember. It felt very atmospheric, just very pretty and not really dull. You know, with a song like this, you could easily be bored by it, but I stayed with it. I thought it was, again, a job well done. I've written here for Albania, just a bit too forgettable. Nice, but when it comes down to it, a little bit on the forgettable side compared to the songs around it. Great vocals, gentle but doesn't sound over the top. I don't know why I wrote that. This was obviously never going to be over the top. It is a very paired back entry. Really nice. The juries had this in 8th place, 51 points, same as Portugal. And in the public half of the results, 13th with 43. Albania received a high mark of 8 from the French jury. Let's move on then to Song 8, Georgia. The pre-contest favourite for a lot of people, Mariam Bigvava, I believe. 3rd place, 161 points. Again, Georgia doing very, very well. But again, Georgia failing in the online vote. Maybe failing's too strong a word, but it happens so often. Georgia not doing the business in the online vote. Why is that? If this song was so adored by so many fans, how come the points did not pour in? I just don't get it. I thought this was fine. The outfits, red and white, very much like the Georgian flag, and the backdrop as well. They were red and white more so. This is obviously a very powerful number, builds up nicely, great vocals, flashing lights galore, a really satisfying climax to this track. I've written here a strong offering, colours of the Georgian flag, yes, but didn't leave much of an impression on me. And I think as time passes and some of us maybe revisit this year's contest, maybe we'll start thinking, actually, I can see why the Georgian song didn't win. Did it really stand out enough? Did it really leave us thinking, wow, winner vibes? I didn't get winner vibes. At no point did I get winner vibes from Georgia, but I did predict Mariam to win. You may well have seen that video last week. But yes, another great result for the Georgians, but not the winner that many of us thought it would be. Georgia were second with juries, 114, but 12th with 47 points from the public, a high mark of 12 from the Polish and Armenian juries. Moving on to Song 9. Oh, majestic, from Sophie Lennon, Solas, for Ireland, in the Irish language, of course. 4th place, 150 points. I am so glad about this result. I thought it might have been a bit underrated again. I've mentioned plenty of times now on my channel about Banshee. That song absolutely should have fared better. So I am so glad that Sophie did the business. There was that moment just before the final chorus where she couldn't quite hit the note, but she recovered so well and was belting it out in the final 5th of this song. Absolutely tremendous stuff. It was so beautifully done. Alone on stage, looking great with the red hair. Oh my god, so much here was working really, really well. It was just put together in a really nice manner. Great singer, lovely backdrop, great atmosphere, and I thought this might have been damaged coming after Georgia, but actually the Irish song, to me, stood out a hell of a lot more than the Georgian one on the night. That's just me. What have I written here about Ireland? Lovely, Smoke Machine. Yes. Watch It Flop. I've written here. Well, sadly, thankfully, that did not happen. Ireland finished 4th with the juries, 88 points, well deserved. 8th with the public, not too bad, 62 points. A high mark of 12 from the Maltese and Serbian juries. Mwah! Absolutely love to see it. And I know that the Irish broadcaster in Ireland are the ones who organise their Junior Eurovision participation. But RTE, who organise Ireland's participation in the adult competition, they need to take a look and see what's been working. And I'm telling you now, the day that Ireland actually have a song in their damn national final in the Irish language will be a happy day. Do I expect it next year? Puh, pigs might fly. Let's move on to song 10, which is North Macedonia. I thought this was good. Some people online were saying it was camp. I suppose it was. But really executed very well again. Can't complain. Lara featuring Jovan and Irina with Shivotote Prepmene. 54 points, 14th place, as expected really. 14th with the public. Joint 14th with the public, 42 points. 14th with the juries, 12 points. A high mark of 5 from the Irish jury. Bit of choreography. The rapping bit I've never liked. It only lasts about 15 seconds though. Very colourful, perhaps a bit too colourful on the backdrop at times. Sounded good, looked good, I enjoyed it. 3 minutes of joy, 3 minutes of fun, but it was never going to do that well. Moving on to song 11, this was Spain. I thought this was really impressive. They were clearly going for this show-stopping moment. Carlos, little pop star in the making, you could say. Carlos Iges with Señorita. They went for this neon theme. They had effects on stage. Fire, smoke, I believe. He was in this crisp white outfit. He had dancers with him, working the camera. You know, really trying to sell the hell out of this. And it nearly worked. 6th place, 137 points. 2nd in the online vote. Saw that coming, 78 points. 6th with the juries, 59 points. A high mark of 12 from the British jury. I had a feeling the British jury would love it. It was very, very slick. Absolutely stood out a mile. One of the best performances yesterday. I've written here, colourful, looks very good, looks like a pop star. Yeah, it wasn't too messy either. It really could have been. There could have been even more things happening on the backdrop. There could have been more things happening on stage. But thankfully, it wasn't really cluttered. It was tight, and everything was working really nicely. And the result deserved. I think some people might be disappointed this only finished 6th, but it's still a pretty tidy result if you ask me. Let's move on to Queen Freya Bow Down. Ladies and gentlemen, Freya Sky, Lose My Head, 5th place, not 6th place, with 146 points. Oh! Yes. Yes. I mean, this is really good. When you consider that she had been unwell last week, to come out on that stage in front of a lot of people and a large audience at home. And she wasn't 100%. You could see this, you could hear this. You know, she was leaving some of the singing to the backing vocalists. Some of the bigger notes, maybe she wasn't totally straining her voice to hit them. But she still sounded pretty good. She was moving about confidently. And the whole thing just felt really polished. We can be very, very proud of what Freya did, because I honestly thought she might have done a Katarina and pulled out of performing live. That was certainly a possibility. I thought, I'm going to wake up on Saturday morning, or I'm going to wake up on Sunday morning, and I'm going to see a statement saying that she's not going to do it. But thankfully she did. Fair play to her. I know the BBC, the whole delegation involved, very, very chuffed with her performance, and hopefully we will hear more from her moving forwards. Absolutely. I don't think I've written anything else down here. Splendid job, it really was. She won the online vote. Oh, love it. 80 points. Lovely. And she was 5th with the juries, so the juries weren't too harsh on her rehearsal clip, because of course that's what they saw, not a live performance. 66 points from the juries and a high mark of 12 from Ukraine. However, Ireland gave the UK nothing. I don't want to speak ill of the Irish jury, but how very dare you. Let's move on to song 13. This was Portugal. Maybe a little bit of a surprise this year, but then again a bit of a surprise last year. This was Nicolas Alves with Anos 70, the only rockish entry on offer, which is maybe why it fared well. It really stood out. 121 points, 8th place. I believe this is Portugal's best result to date Fantastic for them. Joint fourth with Armenia and the Netherlands in the online votes, 70 big ones. And then ninth with the juries, 51 points. A high mark of 7 from the Italian jury, the Georgian jury, and the Spanish jury. Really raspy vocals, playing the guitar or pretending to play the guitar at one point. It was very casually done, but it really worked. You know, it felt quite professional. Really quite mature. Not too bad at all. I don't love the song, but now that the contest is over, I can really see why it did quite well. Portugal are ones to watch. They might win Junior Eurovision within a few years. The online vote last year and this year working in their favour. And if they have a real belter at some point, whether that's a cracking ballad or a really up-tempo decent offering, we may see Portugal win sooner rather than later. Fantastic for them. Let's move on to song 14. This was Serbia. Katarina did not perform live because she's been unwell. This is a real shame, but her rehearsal clip was really solid. Katarina Savic, Svet bez granica. There was ballet, costume change. She was performing in this sort of structure. She finished in 13th place with 92 points. The vocals were very, very nice. I don't know, really, whether this was underrated or not. I don't think many people expected it to do very well, but I know once the rehearsal clip came out, a few more people were on board with it. So you could say it's underrated. I think the result is fair enough. She was... Oh, bear with me. She was... I'm getting there, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it's very slow. It's very slow. Hang on, here we are. She was 13th with the juries and 11th with the public, and she received a high mark of 8. No, she didn't. She received a high mark of 10 from the Dutch jury, who clearly love a bit of interpretive dance. Let's move on. Sorry if there was any lag there, by the way, while I waited for the page to load up properly. Let's move on to song 15, which was Armenia. Always going to do well. Very cushy slot in the running order. Sandwiched between songs that you have to say maybe weren't nearly as competitive. This was Nare with Dance. 180 points, second place. So again, Armenia doing really, really, really well. They just know how to do Junior Eurovision. Disco ball, lights everywhere, in that pink outfit, moving about. Dancers with disco balls on their heads, I think, at one point. Oh man, it was really, really well done. I know I keep repeating myself, but it really was executed in a very strong manner. It was obviously going to do well. It stood out so much, and it's very catchy, with slight K-pop vibes, of course. What have I written down here? Yeah, it just looked really striking. Visually very strong indeed. And Armenia were 3rd with the juries, joint 4th with the public, receiving a high mark of 12 from the French, Kazakh, North Macedonian and Spanish juries. The only country not to give Armenia anything was Italy. So that's Armenia, very, very strong. And then Ukraine closed the show. Zlata Zhunka, Neslamna Unbreakable, 111 points, 9th place. Not bad, no sympathy vote really. Some of us thought there might have been something like that, as we saw, perhaps, you could argue, in the adult competition earlier this year. But she was 10th with the juries and 7th with the public, receiving a high mark of 10 from the Kazakh jury. This was fine. Got to be honest, I don't really remember it. It felt very static. There wasn't a whole lot of movement, words appearing on the backdrop. Powerful stuff. The revamp helped matters. I haven't really written anything down at all that I haven't already said about this one. It was fine. I think the result is fair enough. So, that leaves France. Who saw this coming? Maybe a few of us. I mean, I expected him to do well with the juries. This sort of thing, the juries eat it up, don't they? They just love it. And France, they'll send something similar again next year, no doubt. They had Tic Tac, now they've had this, and they've won again. Back to Paris next year, perhaps. Oh, my man, Lisandro. Again, pop star in the making, you could say. 203 points, first place. In my personal opinion, his vocals were a little shaky. He was off-key at times, it seemed that way to me, but didn't matter at all, because he won. And he won the jury vote quite comfortably, 132 points, and was 3rd in the online vote, 71 points. He received a high mark of 12 from Ireland, Italy, the Netherlands, and Portugal in the jury vote. The only jury not to give him anything was Malta, which is interesting. But there we are. France, they won. This classy look, bit of a bop, I mean, he was belting it out towards the end. Yeah, I mean, it was good. I just really didn't expect it to win. I didn't know of anybody online who voted for this. I didn't see anybody really say it was going to win, so it does feel like a bit of a surprise. And a little underwhelming. I've already seen people saying, Georgia was the real winner. Georgia was the real winner. It will come of no surprise to you that it is mostly Georgians saying that they were the real winner. And I've seen people saying, oh, you know, Poland was a bit underrated. Yes, you could absolutely argue that point. I've seen some people saying, oh, well done, Freya, and absolutely I'm on board with those comments. But yeah, I feel as though this French entry, I'm not sure it's going to have lasting power. I think maybe 5 or 10 years from now, maybe this song won't be viewed as one of the strongest winners we've ever had. In fact, if you want to see a very rough ranking of all the winners we've had to date, check out my Twitter page to find out which song, which I judged all of the winners on various categories. If you want to see which one is the best winner we've ever had, or the best winner so far rather, check my Twitter page out. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble. Congratulations to France. As I said, it could be Paris next year. I'm just going to take a very brief look now, ladies and gentlemen, at the more specific details of the jury results. This will be a waffle, so bear with me. The Albanian jury really liked Italy, but weren't keen on North Macedonia. Armenia loved Georgia, but weren't keen at all on Albania. I'm looking on Eurovoix.com, by the way. The French jury liked Armenia. The UK were fourth, but 2 jury members from France had Freya first. They did not like North Macedonia. Georgia loved Italy and really didn't like the Netherlands. 2 jury members in Georgia had Luna last. The Irish jury loved France. 1 jury member had North Macedonia first, another one had North Macedonia last. 1 jury member had the UK last. I would like to find out who they are. And they weren't keen at all on David's song from Kazakhstan. Italy liked France and Georgia, but really weren't so keen on Malta. 2 jury members had North Macedonia last. Kazakhstan jury, they liked Armenia, weren't so keen on Malta, or Serbia really. Malta had Ireland first, but they really enjoyed Spain and the Netherlands, and they weren't keen on North Macedonia. The Netherlands liked France and Serbia, which is interesting, but they weren't keen on Malta or Kazakhstan. North Macedonia loved Armenia, weren't keen on Malta or Kazakhstan. Poland, every single jury member had Mariam Bigvava of Georgia first, didn't really like Kazakhstan. Portugal, all 5 jury members had France first, and 4 out of the 5 had Kazakhstan last. Serbia loved Ireland. 1 jury member had Armenia first, another had Armenia last. Woof. And Kazakhstan weren't very popular. The UK were last with the Serbian jury. Then we move on to Spain. They loved Armenia and Georgia, and they had Kazakhstan last. Didn't like North Macedonia much either. Ukraine, only 1 jury member had the UK first, but it was enough, and they had Kazakhstan last. The UK had Spain first, but no jury member had Daniel in first place. Why am I saying Daniel? Daniel, where am I getting that from? His name's Carlos. What am I on about? But yeah, the UK had Carlos of Spain first, but no jury member from the UK had him in first place. 2 jury members from the UK had France first, and the UK weren't too keen on Italy or Kazakhstan. Now, it does say here, if I scroll back up to the top of this article, 24 jurors had Kazakhstan in last place, I believe. So there you go. And 17 jurors had Georgia in first place. No jury member had Malta or Kazakhstan first. So there you go, a bit of a ramble, and that's really the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching all of this. If you've stuck with me, let me know your thoughts. I'm very interested to know. Keep an eye on my other social media pages for Eurovision related stuff moving forwards. And of course, it's now back to the adult competition. We have Vidbir in Ukraine taking place very soon. We're getting the Spanish songs. Albania's national finals happening soon. We're getting the songs on the days of the semi-finals, I believe. Excuse me. And Romania, I believe. We're getting those songs very soon. So more videos are coming your way. Then there'll probably be a lull just after Christmas. And then it's all going to pick up again in the new year. Until then, Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all of the support lately. It means a great deal. Take care of yourselves. Hopefully the quality wasn't too bad, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye for now.